Today's video is all about crafting hacks, and who doesn't love a good crafting hack? All lots of fun, useful, and something that you should incorporate into your DIY projects or your craft room. First craft hack, I actually just found out about this not that long ago, and I was like, what the heck, how did I not know about this? You pull off the end of your utility knife and it helps you remove your blade. Very carefully, you slip it into that slot, pull it down to where you just have the one blade, and then pull it back. I'm trying to pull it forward, but you need to pull it back. Snaps right off easy. Be really careful. Take it out. I like to get a little piece of masking tape, put the blade in the masking tape, and then you can throw it away in the garbage and you don't need to worry about it, and you snap those blades off so easy. Next hack, save these Parmesan containers. The actual lid pops right off. Clean it out really well with some hot soapy water. I like to cut the label off. It comes off really easy, peels right off. Put a little bit of water in the bottom, and it is a fantastic container to keep your paintbrushes in and clean them. The little slots in it and the circles hold your paintbrushes perfect. Next hack, if you fiddle with your tape to find the end, keep one of your bread ties, put it at the end of your tape. You'll never lose the end again. Do you have a pair of scissors that are getting dull and they're really dirty and gummed up with tape and glue? I like to take a piece of sandpaper, either a 120 or a 220 grit, and really cut along the blade of the scissors. It will help sharpen it. And you can also use some tin foil. Make some long cuts in it and keep doing it until you've cut up that whole piece of tin foil. Then I like to take some alcohol and really clean those blades. That will take off any of that gummy residue that you have left on your scissors or any tape that's left on it. And it rubs off really easy. It breaks up all those little glue particles. And then I like to get a little bit of oil, any type of oil, put it right in the hinge of your scissors. Work it around, work it right through that hinge. Take a paper towel, clean it up, and you have completely cleaned up your pair of scissors. They're going to be nice and sharp and ready to craft with again. Next DIY hack is you can make your own wood filler to fill in holes on your projects. You don't have to buy any. You can just get some wood glue and some sawdust and just mix it equal amounts and incorporate it really well together. And once you have it incorporated really well, you can put it in your holes and flatten it out. Let it dry completely, and then you can sand it down, and you filled in those holes and you're ready to complete your project. And it matches really well if you're using the same sawdust from the type of wood that you have just cut. Next DIY hack, if you have a glue stick that keeps slipping out of the back of your glue gun, heat up your glue gun, just press the end of that glue stick just a little bit into that top of your glue gun, press it into the back. The glue will stick together and it will slide right through your gun, and you don't need to worry about it falling out. Works perfect. Do you have a paintbrush that you left out by mistake? Notorious for this, and it got hard and crusty. I'm going to show you how you can bring it back to life and you don't need to throw it out. Get a piece of cling wrap or saran wrap, lay it down nice and flat, put your paintbrush in it, and then get some hand sanitizer. We all have hand sanitizer laying around now, and we're going to pour some right into the bristles of that paintbrush. Then wrap it up really firmly, mushing that hand sanitizer into that paintbrush, and set it aside and let it sit for a few hours. Now, once it's sat for a few hours, we're going to clean it up. I like to use a comb and just comb through that paintbrush. It's going to get out all of those little bits and pieces that hand sanitizer has melted and cleaned away. And you'll be surprised how well this works. I take it down, I'm going to clean it up with some hot soapy water also. Back to being a usable, perfect paintbrush. Want an easy way to get pesky labels off glass jars and bottles? Just get your hairdryer, put it on the highest setting, just warm up that sticker so the glues get a little bit hot, and your label will peel right off nice and easy and leave no residue. It's that easy. And then if you have some hard glue residue left on your glass jar, get that hand sanitizer out again, put a little bit right into that glue and rub it in, let it sit for a few minutes and keep scraping at it, and you'll see that that glue residue will rub right off and it'll be left nice and clean. If it's being a little bit stubborn, I like to take the edge of an old pair of scissors and just rub it. Look how clean this is. It took all that residue off with a little bit of hand sanitizer. Okay, this DIY hack is just like magic. If you bought a book at the thrift store and somebody has highlighted all of the pages, take a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice, rub it into that highlighter. It's disappeared. It's gone. Let the page dry. Now you can craft with it. Now, I'm sure everybody has always made this mistake. They've taken their permanent marker and they've written on their dry erase board by mistake. I'm going to show you how to fix it. You're going to now take your dry erase marker and you're going to go right over top of that permanent marker that you put on your dry erase board. Cover that whole word, and then you're just going to take a cloth and just like magic, it's going to wipe everything away. That permanent marker is gone, and all you've done is rub that dry erase marker on top. Magic. I love this DIY hack. It is such a time saver for painting beads. Get a glass container or a plastic container, put your beads in it, and then I like to use just a little bit of acrylic paint. Now this one's almost empty. I'm going to water it down with a little bit of warm water. You want it a little bit thinner when you're trying to do this. We're going to whitewash these beads super fast, and you're just going to put a little bit of that paint into those beads. This one's kind of clumped up a little bit on me because it's really getting old. Pour a little bit more in, and then we're going to put the lid on the glass jar. Give it a shake, and it's going to cover all of those beads super quick, super fast, and give them a whitewashed look. I'm going to dump them out on a piece of paper towel and try not to have them all roll away on me, and then rub off all that extra paint. We don't need very much on it when we're trying to get a whitewashed look, and it works perfect, and it's so fast, and you don't have to take that fussy paintbrush and try to paint each bead individually. And of course, you can do all kinds of different colors. The possibilities are endless with this technique. And how beautiful are these beads? Super fast way to paint them. I have a love-hate relationship with E6000. Love the product. Hate the way that it's put together in this tube. So hard when you get near the end to get all of that glue out. What I do, I cut the end off of it, and then you can squeeze from the top to the bottom, and you're going to get every last little bit of glue out, because it can be pricey, that you can use on your DIY projects. Squeeze it out the bottom, put it on your project, and then I like to put it in a little baggie. Make sure you get all of the air out of the baggie, squeeze it out really well, zip it up, tuck it away until you're ready to use it for the next time. You know all the tubes that we get with vinyl on them, gift wrap, or even paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls? I like to cut little sections off them and wrap my cords in them. It keeps them nice and neat and tidy, and I have lots in my craft room, from my hot glue gun to my Cricut iron to my computer, and it keeps it neat and tidy. Got a thread and needle that you're fiddling around with? Get out some nail polish and put the nail polish on the end of the thread. And when you go to put it through the needle, it stiffens it up and it goes through a lot easier. This is a really great hack to try, and it will make your sewing life a lot easier. Need a paint palette to do some crafting? Save those lids. This makes a really great palette to put your acrylic paint in, and when you're all done, you can just wash them out and reuse them again. So you don't have to go to the dollar store and buy all kinds of new palettes. You can also use lids from glass jars or the plastic lids from coffee canisters. So always be a little bit mindful before you go and buy something new at the dollar store if you have something that you can just upcycle and use for that same purpose. And also, if I still have some paint left in it, I throw it in a little zippy bag and it's good to use after. Next hack, if you want to make some really small dots on your painting project, grab a toothpick, dip it in your paint, and it'll make a little tiny dot. And just look through your craft room and I'm sure you have all kinds of things that you can use to make small circles, like the end of a paintbrush or the end of a stamp. Just get creative and you'll see how you can take your crafting game to the next level and make it look more professional with nice, neat circles. And you're not trying to do it by hand. Back to these paper tubes again, and I love to turn them into little gift boxes. Cut off the desired length that you need for the little gift that you're going to give to somebody. I like to make them pretty, so I'm going to cover mine in some scrapbooking paper. Cut your length of scrapbooking paper to the size of the tube, and then we're going to use our glue stick and glue that paper onto the tube. Trim it around the edges so it's nice and neat. And then you're just going to bend in the ends on either side so they're evenly spaced along the middle, and make sure you're bending it in on the top the same way that you bend it on the bottom. And once you're all done, you have a cute little tube that you can put a little gift in. You can add some ribbon or embellishments, and we've used up some of that paper tube and saved it out of the recycling bin. Do you have stencils and they're kind of rolling around in your drawers or a folder and you want to keep them all neat and tidy? Just grab one of these paper clamps. Make sure they're all together, clamp it on. Great crafting hack to keep your stencils all organized. Want to keep your ruler from floating around on paper or on fabric when you're trying to cut it? Put a little elastic band on the top of your roller, and then when you put it on your fabric or your piece of paper, it's not going to slide around anymore, and you can make a really nice straight cut and not worry about it skidding across your fabric or your paper. Do you want to cut your clay really easy? I've got this clay that I picked up at the dollar store and it's brand new, it's nice and fresh, and I'm going to show you how you can cut a piece off of it really easy with some dental floss. Take a length and just press it into that clay, and it's going to go right through the clay and cut that piece of clay off that you need for your DIY. And it's nice and clean, straight edge, and you can get exactly what you need off your block of air dry clay. This is a really simple DIY hack, but sometimes it's nice just to have a reminder to make your own DIY confetti. Don't go to the dollar store and buy some, because I'm sure you have all kinds of scrap paper around that you can get out your hole punch and punch all kinds of confetti if you want to add it into any of your DIY projects. And they're going to be all kinds of assorted colors, and they're going to be so pretty, and we're going to save some money. I am always making a mess in my craft room, and I'm going to show you how I clean up those messes. I always have these socks that appear that the other one is missing. So I keep them all in a little bin, and I use them to clean my table in my craft room. I spray my cleaner on, put the sock on my hand, and you can really scrub at the table. And the nice thing about this hack is when you're all done, you can take it off and throw it in the washing machine and use it again. Another little hack that I like to do is I always have a little credit card or a card that I store in my craft room dresser, and it's really great for scrapping off little bits of paint and glue. And I'm sure most of us already know this, but it's always great, again, to have a little reminder of little hacks that we can do to help us along in our craft room. I'll just scrape away with the little scraper and the sock and the cleaner, and before you know it, my craft table is perfect and ready to go again. Next time you buy something, don't throw those tags in the garbage. I'm going to show you how you can upcycle them, and this is a really great DIY hack. This is a tag that I got off a piece of clothing that I bought. It already even had a piece of string on it, and we're going to turn this into a little tag that's going to be perfect to add to any type of gift, birthday gift, anniversary gift. I've got some packing tape, and I'm going to put the packing tape on top of that tag. We're going to press it down really well with a card, getting all the bubbles and wrinkles out. And then we're going to peel away that packing tape. And as we are, it's going to take away that lettering that's on that tag and give us a blank tag that we can create into something new. So next time you're out shopping, you're going to be looking at the tags and see how many beautiful shapes and sizes that you're going to get on some of your items, and you're going to want to upcycle them. I like to get a nice piece of scrapbooking paper, and I put some glue stick on the other side of that tag, glue it down on that scrapbooking paper, and then you can trim it around with your scissors, and you can make all of the tags you ever need ever again by so many different ways. You can add scrapbooking paper, you can add just a plain piece of paper, and you can do some alcohol ink, you can do some watercolor, you can use gift wrap paper, so many ideas. And I just punch a hole in the top, making it a little bit bigger. We're going to go back to that string that was already on the tag. We're going to reuse it, and this is ready to be put on a gift. Another DIY hack is when you're at the thrift store, head to the crafting section, because I found a whole bag of these decorative scissors for $4.99. I think there was 12 pair of decorative scissors, all with different edges, and I can add these into my craft room for a fraction of the price. So, and you might even find things there that they don't even make anymore that are original, and you can save some money. But these scissors were a fantastic find. I use them all the time in my junk journaling, and I didn't have to spend a whole bunch of money. Do you want to cut a piece of fabric in a certain shape, but it's really hard to hang on to the fabric and then cut it out of that shape? Put some packing tape on the fabric and trim off around the edges. And I've got this rectangle, which is actually a little clothing tag, but that's the size that I want my fabric to be. And just trim around the edges, and the packing tape is going to keep that fabric stiffer and easier to cut around, and you're going to get a nice crisp edge. And then once you have it cut, you can just peel away that packing tape, and you've got your piece of fabric exactly the size that you want. This one frayed a little bit. I'm just going to take off the little edges, and we have a perfect rectangle that was much easier to cut with that packing tape on it. Do you have a knot that you don't want to budge? Tie the knot, pull it really tight, and then my little hack is to take some fabric glue. This stuff is fantastic, and that knot is not going to budge. I just put a little bit on the knot, I squish it in, it dries clear, and that knot is not going anywhere. If you don't have any fabric glue, you can also just use some school glue. It's maybe not quite as strong, but it works pretty good too for keeping your knots in place. Another crafting hack is don't run to the dollar store to buy all kinds of bins to organize your craft supplies. You can find everything that you need in your recycling bin. I save my glass jars, my tin cans, and they all come in handy for organizing all of my craft supplies. Got a crafting project and you don't want it to roll around on your table? Get a lint roller. It's sticky, it's going to hold your jar or whatever you're working on in place, and it's not going to roll around. Next hack. If you got glitter all over your table and you want to clean it up, again, get that lint roller, roll it into the glitter, it cleans it all up, and you won't have a mess, and it's not all over the place. You can also use some packing tape, and it's really great for picking up glitter, also if you don't have a lint roller. And what I like to do after I've picked up all of my glitter, I don't throw this in the garbage. I incorporate it into my junk journaling or my mixed media projects, because we now have a beautiful piece of tape that's covered in glitter, and it's going to look beautiful on one of our pages. Also save that sheet from the lint roller because it's beautiful too, all covered in glitter. Add it to your crafting projects. Got a DIY that you have to glue together and you don't want it to move around? Add your glue and then get out those paper clamps again, especially if it's a small item, and you can just clamp it in place, set it aside, let it dry, and it's not going to move around at all. Need to make a straight line with some glue? Just get your ruler out and you've got a guide to make a nice straight line with your glue. This is really easy and you can just wipe off your ruler with a little tissue afterwards, but you have nice straight lines of glue that you can add to your DIY projects. Thanks for watching. Let me know which one's your favorite hat.